Hello, my name is Mary Bear Shannon. I'm a reference librarian at the Haverford Township Free Library, and here is my reading with reference for today. I would like to tell you a little bit about the book I read for our Hooked on History book club. We have been studying and looking at books about Korean history. Last month we actually reread Pachinko by Min Jin Lee. And this is another book about Korean history. I was interested with Pachinko because it is actually about Koreans in Japan, and it starts in 1920 and takes you all the way up to 1990. But I was specifically interested in the Korean experience during World War II. And so I actually selected this. This is a young adult fiction book, When My Name Was Kyoko by Linda Sue Park. You can get it in our catalog. You can also get it digitally on Hoopla service as an ebook and an audiobook. And this is set at the eve of World War II. It is in Korea. The two main characters are Sun-hee and Taeyul. They are brother and sister. Their parents, their dad is a vice principal at a school, her mom, and they live with their mom and dad, as well as their uncle, who is a printer. And by this point, just before World War II, the Japanese had occupied Korea since 1910. But then things really got hard during World War II. And the book really relates some of the real hardships that Koreans had to endure under Japanese occupation. And the name When My Name Was Kyoko refers to one of the things that was especially hard for them, where Koreans actually had to give up their Korean names and take on Japanese names. And so Sun-hee's name was Kyoko. And of course, she could never use her Korean name. They just had to get out of the habit of calling each other by their Korean names, because if they were caught, they could be severely punished. But there were, she and her brother go to school, and as the war goes on, they do less going to school and more preparing for what the Japanese say is the Americans' invasion of Korea. They don't actually learn anything about Korean culture anymore. They actually don't. In school, they learn Japanese. They learn to write Japanese and read Japanese. They only speak Korean at home. And there's just a lot of hardships, including along with the names, but also the starvation, no food, and then also kind of the commandeering of young women for what we now know were for what we call comfort women, and they were taken to really service Japanese officers during the war. So I really liked this book a lot. It's a fictional story, but it's got a real history behind it, and it is in historical context. It really happened, and really kind of highlights the tremendous hardship, really through the eyes of these two children. The final shocker is that the uncle who has been working as in the resistance, the brother Taeyul actually goes to and enlists to actually protect the uncle, and really in the final months of the war. So I would really recommend this book. Again, you can get it in the catalog, and you can get it digitally on Hoopla as an ebook or an audiobook. I'm someone who advocates that YA fiction is for all of us. This is really a well done book, and I would highly recommend it. So this is my recommendation for reading with reference for today, and I hope you have a great day.